In this world, there are certain patterns, thinking patterns, that when you change, you'll find yourself naturally getting rid of limiting beliefs. In fact, the opposite of these patterns are what we oftentimes have been taught, and people say them so naturally as if it's truly a truth or the truth. Let me explain. For example, how often have people told you, oh, it takes a long time to make a lot of money. Yeah, it takes a long time for you to find the right relationships. It takes a long time. Or it's not easy to change. Or, there isn't that many opportunities out there. Or, you have to work super, super hard and sacrifice a lot before you can make a lot of money or become very successful. Or money isn't happiness. Happiness is in the journey, not in the result. And these are actually limiting beliefs. Yeah. Or, it's normal to feel anxious and nervous. Yeah. Have you ever seen someone before they get on stage and their friends are like, are you nervous? You must be, because you have to be, right? Or before a big project, a big pitch, are you stressed? Are you worried? Yeah. Or something in regards to feeling freedom, that the feeling or being in a state of freedom. Yeah, a lot of people are like, I have to strive for freedom. I have to fight for freedom. I have to create freedom. I want that feeling of freedom. You're presupposing that you don't have freedom. Yeah. And then also there's the excitement. Yeah. How often are you excited about your goals? Or is it just that you have to achieve them because you got to pay bills? These are all very important things that you must consider. Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. We're going to address speed. We're going to talk about how you can actually increase your speed. Wouldn't it be nice if you could simply not change anything except your thinking patterns and find yourself increasing your speed in your ability to create more wealth, more success, better relationships, and experiencing change in a positive manner faster? Wouldn't that be great? Well, the first thing you got to think about is how often are you encountered with the opportunity to act with speed? And how often do you not act with speed? Because you may be faced with that opportunity to act, but you take your time, you procrastinate, you take it slow, yeah? Have you ever experienced that? I'm not saying take everything really fast, do everything really fast. But there are some very important things, such as paying your bills. Now, you may say, William, what are you talking about? Why are we talking about paying your bills? Hear me out. When you fulfill your responsibilities very quickly and you pay your bills quickly, what you'll find is that intentional act of doing something, especially an energy exchange quickly, it will cause a change in your energy flow. It will speed things up because of how quickly you are taking what you can be accounted for or what you're responsible for in a speedy manner. Simply put, if you pay your bills quickly, you'll find that your clients pay you quickly. If you pay your bills on time, if not even early, then you may find your clients out of the blue paying you early. The energy flow externally is simply a mirror of your energy flow internally. Yeah, internally meaning in your personal life and inside of you. Now, here's another thing. In your mind, you've got to think, because I'm paying my bills quickly, yeah, it's causing this world to respond quickly as well. Expect it. Because if you don't, your mental filters will literally delete the speedy return. Think of it like this. You've seen keys. Well, you've lost your keys before, and it's right in front of your eyes. And your family see them, and you're like, hey guys, have you seen my keys? They're like, yeah, it's right in front of you. You are actually seeing it. You're looking right at it, but you didn't see it. You weren't seeing it while you were looking at it. Makes sense, yeah? And so we sometimes will be looking at opportunities or not even know that we're noticing or seeing opportunities, but because our mind deletes them, because our mind doesn't believe we deserve speed because we don't act with speed. It's not even about deserving alone, right? That's one of the things. But also, how are you interacting with your world? If you're slow, your world will respond slowly. So really, really important for you to begin paying attention to how you interact with your responsibilities and the things you want to do. Now, we talked about responsibility. Let's talk a moment about what you want to do. How often have you taken your time to reward yourself? Like, took forever. Let's say you hit a goal and you're like, yeah, when I hit this goal, I'm going to go on this vacation. But then you hit the goal and you decided, you know what, I'm going to delay it 5 months, 10 months, 2 years. Now, that's not a good pattern because your unconscious mind needs that reward to stay motivated or to know that it was doing the right thing, to know that it actually did something good. If you take forever to reward it, your unconscious mind may have no idea that you actually are rewarding it. And then you go on a vacation, your unconscious mind might just be like, oh, we're just going on a vacation for no reason, right? And so it de-incentivizes the unconscious to act with speed. You must reward it with speed. So not only are you going to take what your responsibilities are, yeah, and do them, fulfill them with speed, you're going to fulfill what you want with speed, yeah? Obviously, do what makes sense, yeah, do the best you can. But when you take things quickly, and look, your mind can make decisions, your mind can process things very quickly. That's also a decision you've got to make, allow yourself to make. Because your mind is a quantum supercomputer. That may be even an understatement. Your mind can do a lot. So if you think I process slowly and I need to take my time, then what happens is your clients will do the same, and your world will do the same. And when you exchange energy, especially when it comes to money, where there's actually a lot of energy to it, quickly, and many of you do it very quickly here, yeah, those of you who are listening, you'll find that your clients will begin to do so faster and faster. Look, it's not always easy, yeah, but it can be. The next topic is about being easy, yeah, let's talk about that. So you may say, yeah, William, it's easy for you to say, act with speed and get speed in return. Next topic is about being easy, yeah, the word ease. Now, here's the first question. When did you decide that things are not easy? I want you to really think about that for a moment. When did you decide that things are not easy? Yeah. How often have you heard from your environment or yourself, your own words, things are hard. Time is a hard, period of time right now. Guess what? Our students in 2020, many of them have made more money than they ever had. Yeah? Hey, were they good at spotting opportunities? Yeah. But let me tell you, what I just said earlier, your mind deletes opportunities to match your internal reality. What you believe to be real as your map of the world is what your mind is going to fulfill for you externally. You could be living in a billionaire's neighborhood, and if you believe you only deserve $10 an hour, that's what you're going to get, unfortunately. Now, of course, that environment will have an effect on you, right? Over time, you may begin to change how you believe it. But I'll tell you, the easiest path is to allow yourself to change what's going on inside first. And you'll notice your environment also change. And of course, simultaneously, you can go and change your environment. So let's talk about ease, yeah? Think about this. What would you have to believe for things to occur easily and effortlessly? You'll hear me say easily and effortlessly a lot throughout our trainings. What would you have to believe, or what would you have to decide to believe to allow things to happen easily and effortlessly? See, whoever taught you, or us as a population, that things has to be not easy, or things have to be hard, yeah? Not easy. That was perhaps a personal experience. But that program really was a virus, and it got turned into something that spread. Right? And a lot of people are infected with that virus of believing that things have to be hard. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the amount of people I talk to and that they unconsciously make life hard for themselves, yeah? Sometimes I look at parents. I was talking to one of our team members, and he was like, I was at Disneyland, and I noticed how many parents yell at their kids. They make it hard for themselves, yeah? They utilize the harder method to persuade, but really not persuade, but to force their kids to do what they want. And their kids don't want to do it. So it's really creating a conflict that's absolutely unnecessary. You know what I think is that parents need to learn how to better entice their kids to do what they want, so their intentions are aligned. See, if a parent cannot persuade their own kids to do what they want, how persuasive do you really think they are in general? Right? If you can't even convince your own family to do what you want, how are you going to convince other people to do so? And or how are you going to convince other people whose family may oppose a new business opportunity, yeah, in joining you or whatever, right? So really begin to consider, things don't have to be hard, because if you truly begin to even see a glimpse of what your mind is actually capable of, what it's truly capable of, you wouldn't even hesitate. You wouldn't even consider things to be hard. You wouldn't. You begin to see things as easy, and everything is easy. Everything can be effortless. Now, the sooner you know this, the better, yeah? Because instead of having to go back and solve a bunch of problems that have been stacked up, that you've considered to be hard, now you can start your life considering everything to be easy. So your mind, trust me, if you think something is easy, your mind will naturally easily give you a solution. Your mind will match your belief and create your external reality. So if you think things are hard, your mind will literally make things hard for you. Yeah, it's as easy as that. So next, abundance. Let's talk about abundance. Now, here's a big and important concept, is that are you motivated away from scarcity, yeah, or pain? Or are you motivated toward abundance and success and pleasure? That's a very important question. Consider this for a moment. Really, I'll say it again. Are you motivated away from scarcity or pain? Or are you more motivated toward abundance, success, and pleasure? This is a very important thing, because if you were to know what the percentage is, or percentages are on both sides, yeah, you would know why there is pain or scarcity, and why there would be abundance, success, and happiness and pleasure in your life. So here's what I mean. You've seen or heard stories of millionaires making a lot of money, becoming very successful, and then losing it all. Well, here's what happens. If someone is motivated away from pain, they will, let's say they're motivated away from scarcity and poverty. Maybe they grew up poor, yeah, or broke, or whatever they call it. And they want to be nothing like that. They want to live a life that's different. They don't want that. Yeah, and because they don't want that pain, they don't want to experience that anymore. Now that they are able to take control of their life, they will go as far away as possible from that pain. However, what happens when you're far enough? When you're so far from it, meaning you've created millions, and then you don't feel the pain. See, what happens is the mind loses motivation at that moment, and the mind's like, well, you know what? We need some motivation. So what's interesting is then the mind, because the human mind is naturally and automatically, innately programmed to evolve. So if you're not motivated to create next level, your mind's like, well, let's give you some pain. And what it's familiar with in terms of pain is going back to where it was before, or something terrible. Now, of course, you're safe and healthy. You're doing well, yeah? Let's put that suggestion in your mind. But I'm saying what a lot of people do is they create that pain. So when they create that pain, what happens? They go back to ground zero, or they go back to a place they don't want to be, or they create a new problem. Abundance is created when you go towards what you want. When you go toward, there is a reason we always recommend that you learn how to focus on what you want, because guess what? Too many people only know how to focus on what they don't want, focus on scarcity and pain. And what their mind focuses on, they create, right? Because what you play on the stage of your mind is what? It's the preview of coming attraction. So you must play in your mind abundance, success, and happiness, and joy, and all the wonderful things, yeah? And so, that being said, what's the percentage of your time? And you don't even have to think about it too much. Just allow the first number that comes to mind. Yeah, just be aware of it. What's the percentage of time that you're actually focusing toward what you want? There should be a number that pops up in your mind. Out of 100%, how many percent? Even if it's 99%, you've got some work to do.